Hey, it's me, Martin, and this is the Poco M3. A phone that gave me a lot of mixed feelings and is therefore difficult to recommend. So stick around till the end of the video and let me share with you what I think of it. But first of all, let's quickly recap a few important things. Poco was originally a subsidiary of Xiaomi, but with the launch of the M3, it announced it's becoming an independent global brand. The unboxing part is a little bit boring. You've got a case and paperwork, then the phone itself, and the charger and cable. The specs on paper look interesting, but that's only partially true. There's a 48 megapixel camera, the Snapdragon 662 is included, it has a 6.5-inch Full HD display and a massive 6000 mAh battery. So let's go a few weeks back in time. I received a review sample from Xiaomi and I started to set it up for my personal use and all of the tests that I do for a review. And then I noticed a few strange things. The two most important ones are issues with lag and the camera. Whenever I took a photo, the pictures came out way too purple, as you can see. In both daylight and low light situations, of which the latter one had an even stronger effect. So I updated the phone, I gave it a hard reset, but nothing seemed to work actually. So I contacted Xiaomi and I said, hey, do you know what's happening? But they didn't really have a clue. But they did ship a new sample and at least the camera issues seem to be solved. The camera is nothing special, to be honest. I don't know why they opted for a 2 megapixel macro camera. I would have put my money onto a wide angle lens instead. Pictures come out average, close to being poor, especially when the lighting conditions are far from ideal. The same counts for filming. There's no stabilization or whatsoever, and therefore I wouldn't get this phone for its cameras, even though it's heavily marketed as a 48 megapixel triple camera. Now let's go to the second point that I was hoping to be solved with a new unit. The lag in the software and UI. For example, when you go to recent apps, there's this lag. And that's without any apps in the background running. This effect only strengthens when there are more apps open in the background. And don't forget, I have the maxed out model over here with 4 gigs of RAM. It feels to me that either the processor or the GPU cannot handle the heavy UI, or it's fluctuating the refresh rates all the way from, let's say, 24 to 60 FPS. Maybe this is due to the fact that there's also a lot of bloatware pre-installed. Unfortunately, with this new device, the lag remains, and also the fingerprint scanner isn't as smooth as with other devices that we've tested from Xiaomi. It's rather slow and inaccurate at times. You really have to position your finger well, and my tip is to scan your thumb twice to improve its accuracy. So far you might think that I've been pretty harsh or hard on Poco and the phone, but I think they're all valid points. But on the other side there are also a few good points. Antutu comes in at around 185K and the GPS is working just fine. The random reading and writing speeds are good and the up and down wireless speed performance is also more than fine. Therefore, it feels to me that the processor is having a hard time because of the full HD display. Speaking about that display, for the price of this phone, it's actually good. There are not many phones out there that offer a Full HD Plus resolution in this price segment. The display has two weaknesses though. The maximum brightness is rather low, making it hard to use outdoors in direct sunlight, and when tilting the phone it dims at certain angles. I've mentioned earlier on that the UI is heavy or that the CPU/GPU cannot handle the Full HD display, but when it comes to gaming, it's actually performing really well, and that surprised me a lot. Yes, there are the occasional frame drops and you have to play on the lower settings, but considering the lag in the normal day-to-day operations on your phone, this actually feels as a relief. Also, after a long gaming session, the phone didn't get hot at all, and I have to be honest with you guys, normally I always check it, but after a long session I didn't notice that it was getting warm or hot, so I forgot to check it, and that's basically to me already a good indicator that you can game for a long time without having to worry about overheating. Last but not least, the battery. This is a 2-day phone for most people. With benchmarks I'm getting nearly 14 hours, but in a real life situation normal consumers will easily get 2 days. Charging takes quite a long time though, 3 hours, which is, considering the price of the phone, the charging brick and the overall capacity of the battery, expected. The few remaining points to discuss are mainly connectivity ones. There's an IR blaster, a 3.5mm headphone jack, dual SIM with microSD support and dual loudspeakers. So overall, the package seems to be pretty complete at a first glance, but now that we had a deeper look and understanding of this phone, there's actually a few points that Xiaomi or Poco can improve on. And the first one is of course the camera. The cameras are average to poor. I would have put my money on a wide angle one instead. Luckily there is support for a Gcam mod because a 48 megapixel camera could and should do much better. The second point is the fingerprint scanner is a bit slow and inaccurate at times. The trick by adding the same finger twice helps, but this shouldn't be the case. I also believe that the Snapdragon processor should perform better, or they should optimize the Poco launcher as the UI is laggy. And of course, the display is a big plus in this price segment. But it's not very bright, dims when holding it under an angle, and the GPU has to work hard for it. The aforementioned points are of such importance to many out there that my advice would be to really think twice whether you want to grab this phone or not. I would rather save up an extra 25 or 50 euros and grab the X3 for example. So the real question is, for who is this phone? I believe it's for people who are on a tight budget, like school-going children who like to play games and receive part of their lessons online. Or people in developing countries where saving up another 25 to 50 euros means a few months of waiting. So, bottom line, it is a phone with a lot of potential, but it needs a lot of attention first. And I also wouldn't give it to my mom, to be honest with you. I also find it strange that Xiaomi and Poco are releasing a phone in this state, because it's been a while that I received a Xiaomi phone or got a Xiaomi smartphone that I cannot recommend. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. Let me know by giving it a thumbs up. If you have a comment or question, drop them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope to see all of you in the next one.